Hello there ladies and gents, my name is Story and in today's video we're going to address some concerns. Now as I sit here and make this video, Destiny 2 has been out for 42 days. At launch we had at least 3 weeks of pure fun gameplay without realising that Bungie haven't quite perfected the impossible formula for pleasing everyone. The central structure for the sequel to our favourite game was definitely designed to accommodate as many new players as possible, and in particular, those of us that cannot spend much more than a few hours of play a week. While it is fair to say that Bungie have succeeded in satisfying their demographic or target audience, unfortunately this has left some of us feeling rather alienated. There is currently a ton of feedback floating around our community right here and now. Feedback is indeed in no short supply, and amongst the plentiful amounts of angriness and assholery, there's also a fully stocked fridge of cool, solid criticism for suggestions and improvements. Ultimately, what matters to us most as players is how Bungie processes this feedback and the action they take afterwards in balance, updates and patches. Of course, how we offer, interpret and process feedback amongst ourselves as a community is both helpful and rather messy. A healthy first step would be to recognise that communities aren't hive minds. They're comprised of individuals that can think, feel and act differently from each other. For example, did you know that there are people out there that happen to enjoy pain? It's true, and I swear if anyone attempted to put a mousetrap anywhere near my genitalia, I would show them a world of pain they had no idea existed. Anyway, people are genuinely and deliciously weird and seldom share the exact same preference, so reacting to feedback as if it's coming from one single mind is getting beyond counterproductive. Is this just plain narrow-mindedness, or is it investment in corporate agenda? It could be both, or neither, as it's never that cut and dry. Trying to force everything over to one side of an extreme, or brutishly force a wide topic into a single category, isn't improving anything. I'll give you some examples. You're either a Bungie shill or a Bungie hater, or one of my personal pet hates, you're either positive or negative, because you can't be both. Yeah. It's beneficial to accept that there are mid-tones. It's not all intent, bright lights or pitch black shadows. It's a huge subject we're trying to cover here, and forcing things into a shallow category doesn't help anyone. Now there are plenty of us that are having a grand old time playing Destiny 2. I am one of those types myself. However, I'd be a bit special to have failed to notice that there are some pretty large problems that need attention. Why do we have such huge planets to explore when there's basically not a fat lot happening on them? Why do I need 12 of the same exotic consecutively in a row when there's plenty of exotics I don't actually own yet? Why can't I get modifications that I would actually use? Or the big one, why should I sign in and play today? It is extremely silly to choose to ignore genuine questions and suggestions for feedback. However, I think both the developers and us as a community could all do with ignoring the useless and destructive stuff that offer nothing but obstructions. So, how can we all do better? Well, just for your entertainment and viewing pleasure, I've compiled a list of bullet points that will assist in being a better and more effective community member. It's better described as a satirical guide to not being an internet dick. Note the word satirical. Without further ado, in at number 1 we have a tip for both developers and the community wrapped into one. Recognition of worthless feedback and or trolls. If someone's feedback includes any of the following sentiments, such as get cancer, please kill yourself, or drink bleach, it is more often than not going to be beneficial to ignore these people, forget they spoke, and move on to the next comment. Why? Because they cannot articulate or control themselves. This is a combo which is going to make understanding perspectives near impossible online. They are not contributing anything of any value, and neither should their toxic behaviour in any way, shape or form be considered as part of the community. Consider its uselessness and move on. Number 2, denial. Failing to acknowledge or understand an issue others are experiencing via denial of its existence and then going to any length possible to whip out a huge virtual hard-on and stick it in the faces of those that do indeed experience a problem, and then repeatedly beat them with said hard-on while screaming at them that their problem doesn't exist with caps lock engaged. Evidence of this phenomenon has been classified as eye syndrome, as it's often found on Apple product forums when trying to solve problems with Apple OS and software. You can also find evidence of this when searching queries on skill-based matchmaking. Tip number 3, getting angry at people getting angry, otherwise known as zombification. If you're guilty of this, then you are part of the problem. In fact, you are making a problem unnecessarily worse and for no sound or logical reason. For whatever reason, people get angry. If angry people also make you angry, then keep contact with angry people to an absolute minimum, so you don't get angry. Tip number 4, censorship. Are you sick of hearing about other people's problems? Are you tired of discussions? Are you tired of other experiences and opinions? Then perhaps refrain from browsing places online that offer specifically nothing but opinions, experiences, and/or discussions. Sticking your fingers in your ears and singing la 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 is also very popular in this instance and also less resource hungry. And for our final tip in how to be a better community member, tip number 5, put down that shoehorn. If a fellow community member enjoys praising Bungie for a job well done, this does not mean they are a shill. If someone criticizes Bungie, please refrain from calling them toxic. If someone can see a bright side to the darkness, they may not actually be a vampire, folks. Stop referring to anyone communicating their experiences as bitching or whining. Communities are never this black and white, folks. There are many layers. Drop the derogatory words and stop swearing. Use the character spaces in your tweet more wisely and expand your vocabulary. Just repeat to yourself, if I use lots of curse words in my tweet or comment, no matter the context, it's possible I'll sound like a brat no matter how hard I try not to. Folks, being a friend to Bungie or a fellow community member does not involve agreeing with, protecting, or supporting every mistake they make. Friends tell each other when they F up, and they do so respectfully of their feelings, but honestly enough to make the point needed. Over positivity is just as destructive as abject negativity. Sincerity and genuine care and consideration is evident in the way you behave, the words you choose, and the manner in which you conduct yourselves on and offline. Just be excellent to each other, or else someone just might take a dump in your handbag when you're not looking. I've been Story Machine. I do hope you've enjoyed this absolutely ridiculous video. If you did, then please slap the indicator of the upward thumb. If you happen to like my insane ramblings, then please head on over to my own YouTube channel. I do have one. It is a bit of a hobby. It's not so much full time, so any support is gratefully received. I do, however, stream fairly regularly on Twitch. You can find all of the links to these on screen and in the description. In the meantime though, folks, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, smoke as a kipper. We'll be back for breakfast.